The following production is intended for entertainment purposes only. We are not legal professionals. We do not speak for any government agency, and the opinions expressed here are our own. Relax.
I think we might have gotten a medal for that. Or yeah, anyway. Um I
That's
can't remember
nice.
why I wanted to tell that story except that we got
You
made.
were
Like
you got a
like
big load. You were saying that
um
you didn't have a lot of success on the highway, but you were good at catching big fish in the city.
well what I was trying to illuminate was your point of being made as a cop. And what was funny about that is after when I was interviewing afterwards, he said it was my haircut. He said I had a cop cut and he knew just by looking at my haircut that I was a cop.
What was your hair back then?
Um, it would have had a hard part here,
Yeah,
combed over there, high and tight, like
that's
short.
that's a cop cut.
He thought so.
Yeah, I think it is. I still like that haircut.
Did you ever, you went, I know you went to some national trainings, you went to some out of town trainings.
I went to a bunch of the big ones. I would say
Um,
the best ones I went to.
I mean, this is gonna sound really judgmental, and I don't mean it
I
to.
did go to the best ones.
Um, it always cracked me up the types of people that you saw there.
I love it.
Uh,
That's my favorite
because
part.
it's a specific attire where you've got the guys wearing now it's plain clothes environment, right? Like
Yeah.
most people are from out of state. And even if it's your own agency, like you're not working that day, you're going to training.
Yeah.
But there's a certain person that's wearing their tactical pants. And it doesn't matter
There's a
that
lot of these people.
it doesn't matter that they're 8 hours from home. They got their tactical pants on. And they got their Merrill boots on in case we got to climb a mountain in a hurry, right? And they've got the t-shirt that has
What does it have?
some sort of either
It's gonna
scales.
have some things.
It's going to have scales. It's going to have a highway marker.
Uh-huh.
Probably going to have a Grim Reaper.
Uh-huh.
Going to have a marijuana leaf.
If you know anything about cartels, you're gonna put a Grim Reaper on there.
Um,
Marijuana leaf is a must.
it's a must because
What are you
on,
doing? If you ain't got a pot leaf with
yeah,
two skinny leaves, like the leaves are too skinny to be real pot, like why are you even here?
yeah, we got it from what was that clip art that you
Yeah,
used to be able, yeah. Um,
Microsoft.
so you may.
Wait, it has a canine on it too.
That's what
It
I was gonna. Yes, yes, it's got a dog on it, and honestly, that's because a lot of the conferences we went to were canine or interdiction related. Um, but
yeah,
it's gonna.
most people need a dog to be successful in interdiction.
You're gonna maybe say I was unsuccessful with the dog,
Okay.
um,
Sorry.
but it might say something like you can run, but you can't hide, or something about justice.
Long arm of the law.
Yeah. What else do they have? They got a big dip in their mouth and their lip. Um,
Oh, well, there's a tier above this. My favorite tier is the tier above this.
okay, lay it on me.
I went to traditionally like the graduate school of interdiction. Like for many decades, this has been known as the graduate school, or the school
Yeah.
to go to.
The
Oh,
national conference, did you go to that?
yeah, I went the year it was in Kansas.
Okay.
It was in Topeka when you were in Kansas City. Oh, yeah, it was in Kansas City. I went there. Um, yeah, I went to the national conference. I went to the big desert one. I went to the two that I love the most were the ones like the new school, Street Cop, and the guy who wrote Evading
Yeah.
Honesty. He had his version. Those I think were actually the top.
Yeah.
But
That one, I don't know if we should name names, but that first one you said, they've come under fire for like
a
some
lot of
lawsuits
times,
and stuff. Like recently,
many
I
times.
read something.
Oh, really? Again?
Yeah, which is a real shame because I think it's a good program.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to that we could get to.
I
But
think,
any
unfortunately, I think that they suffered some real bad publicity and bad politics. But anyway, proceed.
yeah. Well,
The level
the
above.
the level above these, there's a lot of those guys. The lion's share of dudes who are working or dressed like they're at work, which is the most people there are like this.
Yeah.
Um, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme, are someone that you think are from Texas, and I assume that these folks were from Texas. Turns out they were just from New Mexico, but they come in wearing some stylish blue jeans that are painted on.
Okay.
Some very nice, very expensive, some sort of skin cowboy boots.
Okay.
Oh,
Do these jeans have heavy stitching on the back?
heavy.
Okay.
Maybe some. It could be some. What are those? Those curly decoration things,
Okay.
or Native American eagles, or like elongated diamonds.
Yeah, yeah.
Those could be on the belt. The
Okay.
belt is going to be bright red leather or auburn, deep, rich mahogany leather, and they are going to be carrying. They are going to be carrying
100%. 100%.
either a 1911, a bright, shiny 1911, or I ain't no pussy automatic. This is a revolver, son. This is what real cops carry. A big 357 or 38 special revolver is going to be in there. They're going to have, uh, it's going to have pearl buttons, but it's going to be some sort of nice shirt, maybe a Mexican bola tie, or just open and letting a little bit of the chest breathe. That's afterwards, like when you're getting drinks, the bola comes
Yeah, yeah,
down,
yeah. That's for the networking
the networking
after.
afterwards,
Yeah,
and
which
they that they
I need
will
to
be
ask you about that.
carrying at.
I
They
need to ask you
will.
about that.
Okay, yeah, they will be carrying their pistol at that event.
Yes.
Um, and the best Stetson cowboy hat you have ever laid your eyes on, and they're gonna look like Walker Texas Ranger with a pretty sizable tire around above the belt line, or but they're gonna be the Walker Texas Ranger, uh Texas Rangers showing up there. And I've heard that Texas Rangers do have like a pretty kick-ass interdiction team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy you're describing, so the guy you're describing, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's my
Like
favorite.
that's a
Have
dude
you ever gone up and directly
I want to sit with
addressed
that
this
dude.
person?
I've been around them. I've never like talked
Tyler was
like
Tyler was with me at the national conference one. That's where we saw these people.
okay.
And this was still around the time we were getting to know each other, and I think he knew me as like a wild card, but I was trying to play that I wasn't.
Okay.
And I see this group of Walker Texas Rangers and immediately start giggling like and I pointed out to them, we do a class, there's a break in between, and I walk up to them, I'm like, Texas Highway Patrol? And they're like, what? I'm like, Texas Rangers? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, are you guys Texas Rangers? And they go, no, we work for New Mexico, this jurisdiction, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, well, you look like Texas Rangers. Hey, I'm Clayton. Nice to meet you. That's literally how this conversation goes. I turned around to look for Tyler and he's gone. Like he ran away whenever I ran up and started speaking with these fellas. Those are my favorite. Those are the creme de la
Yes.
creme.
Yes. But it's a small minority because
Those are
are
elites.
most of them are wearing they're the tactical guys.
Yeah.
Those guys are like the kind of the Godfather, like the not the Godfathers. Um, they're elite. That's the way to say it. That's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
problem, one of the problems that I had with those types of conferences or those types of environments, and I never understood this, why they promoted alcohol so much, like
Yeah.
so heavily.
Hey,
Um,
drinks. I'll see you at drinks. Drinks after this.
not only that, but like there was one that I remember
Not drinks. We're gonna get shit faced.
you had to.
Yeah.
So there, like at the national one, the MC or whatever, like he would call people out for not having two drinks in their hands. So like
Jesus.
he's like, hey, you in the blue shirt, how many drinks you got? And he's holds up one and he says, get him another. So somebody like
Jeez.
everybody was getting absolutely hammered. Uh, to the
A room
point
full
where,
of people that have something to prove.
whew, and so yeah, so you've got a lot of these guys, um, not being critical, they don't get out very often. You know,
Yeah.
you've got people from Western Kansas, their agency somehow or another they got them to this training, or they got a load of cash, or whatever. I'm not criticizing them, but they don't get out very often, right?
Oh,
Um,
I knew cops that were from our area that like borrowed money from other agencies, stayed with their sister to be in this. Like, hey,
to
I'll beg, borrow, steal just to
Yeah,
go to this
just to get
conference.
there. And so you end up with, like, there was one guy uh, from a state agency. Um, I come out of the ballroom into the lobby, and this dude is gone. Like, he's laying he's sitting in the chair, and he's kind of asleep like this. And security is like, does anybody know this guy? And he knew people that I knew, so I'm kind of hanging around him. And he thinks he lost his badge. He thinks he lost his gun. Doesn't know where his wallet is. And
Holy
it's just a
shit!
disaster. But I'm like, this is what how did you not know that you had to know this is what you're going to get when you're,
Was someone holding you down and force feeding you these drinks?
well, I just mean this, like, this guy wouldn't have
The
known.
leadership should have known, like the people putting
Yes.
together this
Some,
organization. Yeah.
but it was consistent enough. Like every one of these conferences that I went to, it was just everybody drink as much as you can, and most of them couldn't drink that much, but that didn't stop them. Um,
Mm.
and even, I mean, I there was a time when I woke up with vomit in my shoes, um, that I think was me. So I'm not saying I'm like, there was also, did I tell you about the time I ended up at a gay bar?
No.
Um, and I didn't realize what it was until later on.
They're fun.
I
I've been to
asked
plenty of
I
them.
asked the cops. I was like, "Hey, I
You've
noticed
asked the cops.
I was like, there were a lot of dudes in this bar, and they were kind of looking at me, and I was like, "Was that a gay bar?" And they're like, "Yep." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sweet." And I didn't think anything. Like, I just thought this dude was buying me drinks. Like, I was like, "Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
man.
he was.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, I'll take
All
another.
right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're
All
a cool
right.
guy. I like you a lot." Because my per diem didn't pay for
You want
that.
to dance? I mean, oh, okay, sure.
You seem like a cool guy. Why not?
Oh, here's my robot. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
And what's
Watch
funny?
out.
What's funny is the whole time I never I never put it together. What made me suspect it, what made me even look around, was we were chatting. We were having a great time. He seemed like a good dude. Um, he's like, "When you leaving?" And I said, "Tomorrow." And he's like, "Oh, but I just got to know you." And I'm like,
He's
and
moving in for the kill. He's
that's
moving in
what
for the pounce.
I start looking around, and I'm like, dude. And so that's when I was like, well, yeah, I guess I better get going. Uh, as I'm walking out, I asked it was kind of like an old town scenario where they've got off-duty cops working, whatever.
Yeah. And you ask the cop, hey, there's
Just
a
out of
lot of fellas.
curiosity, not that there's anything wrong with it.
You're
Would you
stumbling out
say,
of a gay bar, and they're like, please don't say your butt hurts. Please don't say your butt hurts.
would you say this bar leans more more homosexual than hetero? And yeah, I mean, it's just a leaning. A bar can't be a certain whatever. Who cares? Not
uh,
me.
not me. Whatever, bro. I'm comfortable.
Hmm.
Um, there's a bar in, I think the bar or whatever, the main bar in Wichita. I end up getting roped into going to often whenever I'm there. There's gay people in my family, so whenever
What do you, I'm not sure what
is
bar
it
you're talking.
Rain? Yeah, Rain. Club Rain.
Where is it
Don't even
a
pretend. Don't
I knew that was
even.
coming. I knew that was coming.
Don't even.
What I'm getting at is I didn't
You've
know.
been there.
What I'm getting at is I thought you were gonna say like Club America. Like when you're talking,
Oh,
like not the main bar, but the main gay bar.
yeah, the
Okay.
main gay bar. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what we're talking about. Gay bars.
Okay,
I didn't shift subjects on you.
just clarify. Ooh, it's getting hot in here.
um, yeah, and Rain's always a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go there and it's The first time,
what kind of dancing do you do? Do you do the same dancing that you did for your birthday?
I like a little juke. I like to go side to side and then
Where's it go? Where's it go?
hey, boom, 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 lots of finger guns. Do a little spin. I like to you can get a lot of mileage off of keeping your hands. It's kind of like good running form. Keeping your hands.
You're not wrong, because the best kind of running is run dancing.
Yeah.
The best kind of running is when you got just a little bit of pep. Yeah,
Harvester of Sorrows by Metallica. For some
that's
reason,
not a great dancing song.
dude, it sounds like a dancing song. It sounds like because there's this part where like it's a heavy breakdown at the beginning. It opens with like this 4 minute long.
They don't play. I feel like they don't. I don't feel like they play that at Club Rain.
No, but no, they don't. But I'm saying that there's this part where Lars starts doing like these. You know what a triplet is in music?
Yeah. Did you know that I play the drums?
Oh no, I didn't.
When I say I play, I mean I own a drum set and I know how to one triplet, two triplet, three. Yeah.
Triplet. Well, Lars starts doing these triplets on the kick drum, on the bass drum, and is like, and in my mind, I could like every time I hear that, I want to be like just skip. Like in my mind, it seems like there's a cool heavy metal early 90s. Man, I'm being vulnerable with this. Early 90s, late 80s heavy metal dude wearing like Iron Maiden or Metallica t-shirt and a leather jacket and like maybe some high tops is one like a surfer metal guy from California, and you could see him like playing and skipping at the same time, like doing it like it's a dancing beat. So yeah, when I hear Harvester of Sorrows, I get, even when I'm walking around my store, I get a little
I've never considered how you might dance to that song or how that song might. I mean, I guess maybe like a hardcore dance, maybe like some
Yeah.
windmills.
Yeah, that doesn't really cross over. Metallica's not a hardcore dancing band, I would say.
No. Honestly,
They're not for uncivilized fucking swine. They're for real metal lovers.
They're not. You wouldn't even mosh to it these days, though.
No, you don't see it at mosh. It's too tight to mosh at Metallica concerts.
What do you mean?
There's too many people there. There's none of that spinning around elbow room. There's no windmills.
That's dumb. But I mean, I doubt that there's even like a legitimate mosh pit. Like,
oh, it's standing room.
Yeah, because Metallica really isn't metal. I mean, they're
the fuck. Why would you say that?
Dude, they're not.
You're just trying.
They're freaking not. They're freaking.
You're just trying to be hurtful right now.
They're just not. Like there was a time back when
you can't. No. You can't say that something used to be metal. Like, are you going to say no? Because it's something different. Was Elvis Presley metal?
No.
No.
What? You're gonna
because that genre didn't exist with Elvis Presley. He was rock and roll. That was rock and roll back then.
Okay, sure. So Elvis Presley is to rock and roll what Metallica is to heavy metal. Perfect.
You mean a Godfather? Yeah, and the guy who wrote the book on it, the one who everyone is emulating in some way,
wrote the book on with you. The book on when heavy metal was for.
It's in the name, Metallica. Metallica. Yeah.
No, I mean I love Metallica, but they're no more heavy metal than Skid Row is.
No, dude, that's crazy.
No, that's not true. They're heavier than Skid Row. I take that back. But
what makes something heavy metal?
Vocals are big. The speed.
Yeah. Okay. The best vocals ever.
That's the problem. Going. Yeah. If you can understand the vocals, you might as well be singing easy listening.
This is why you're right. So this is why not everyone is a Tool fan either, because you have to be smart to be a Tool fan.
I love Tool. Yes, but they're not metal.
No, you're right. They're not.
You wouldn't even say they're hard rock.
So if you okay, a lot of things are making sense now.
They're in the industrial rock,
If you think we're not even
not even
talking about
industrial, not
Tool
even
anymore.
industrial.
If you think Metallica isn't metal, and I say this with love, right? This is gonna come out. It could be misinterpreted as harsh, but it's not harsh, okay?
Okay.
If you don't think Metallica is heavy metal, it's because you're too stupid to get it. Okay. And I say that,
Wow. Dude, I'm glad you gave me all
and
that.
I'm not, that's not you personally,
No,
right? It's
I'm
not,
glad
it's
that you
not,
prefaced it, because if you hadn't said that, I would have thought,
it would
damn,
have sounded
I'd have thought
extreme.
that's harsh.
Yeah.
I'd have thought, man, that was a bit much. But you warned me, so
Poetic lyrics, right? The lyrics of Metallica are
yes, very,
profound.
very poetic. Yes, I love it. It's great poetry.
Heavy distortion, vocal. Okay, so we got to go back to the list.
Yeah.
Vocals are a big part of heavy metal. What else?
Yes. The driving beat. Okay, you got that.
Yeah, we
You
got
got
the
that.
best.
Driving guitars. You got that. However, you don't have early Metallica was closer to metal than anything from the
Yeah.
Black Album on.
Okay.
And so what happened with the Black Album and on and forward is you just don't have the kind of thrashing guitars that you had in uh Injustice for All or Kill 'Em All, or like the what was the one with the
Ride the Lightning.
Ride the Lightning. Yeah. Like that was closer to metal than, and I love the Black Album, but it's
All right.
not metal. It's slightly above hard rock.
Okay. Because it's not.
You could play the entire Black Album at Kohl's while while I'm shopping for khakis, and I'm not going to feel out of place. Hey, do you guys have any? Do you guys have any deals on Sperry's? Like, yeah, hang on just a second. Sad but true. Hey, how about the sweater? When
memory remains.
If I'm okay, so if I'm shopping and a store
Wait.
that I would expect to hear metal.
Wait, I think this is gonna help you out.
Okay.
Heavy metal is this heavy metal? Ace of Spades, Ace of Spades.
Oh man, that okay.
Is that metal? Because what that
Only
is,
because
if
of
that's
who
metal,
it is.
no, because
Yeah,
of
that's
what
it.
it is.
Because of who it is.
If you want to bum bum, boo doo doo,
Just like
the heart, it's all the same to me.
just like
That's so close we might get copyright infringement. That was so spot on.
See, this is dangerous that I'm going to say this, because I don't think that you know enough about this genre
Yes. Okay.
to not know about what I'm about to say. Misfits, not punk.
Yeah.
Not punk.
Okay. You're right. I don't know enough about punk to
So
have this argument.
At one time, they would have been punk. Or some, and this is interesting too, and I'll give you this, that there's all this crossover of like
because Metallica
and speed
tried to
metal
emulate the
and
Misfits
thrash
even.
punk and all of this kind of stuff. Like there is some crossover, but where Metallica is and where metal is, they don't meet. There's no crossover.
No, you're making some contradictions.
They're cousins.
Are they?
Cousins? They're from the same side of the family, right?
So
but they're
maybe?
not. But they're not. They're not the family. Like they're not.
They got different daddies.
Yeah. There's some similarities.
But see, okay, I would say Metallica. If Metallica isn't one of the daddies of metal, they are the older, cooler brother that drove an IROC Camaro and smoked ciggies.
Yes, in 2025, and you're like, bro, you were cool about 30 years ago.
40.
If you like if you could just stop driving around in your T-top, like, yeah, you were cool, man. You were real cool, and I respect you for it.
Yeah, man, you're still wrong. So Metallica, that is metal. Like, no matter, they could come out with a Christian rap album, and it would be fucking metal,
Would it
son.
be? But
Another
would
thing,
it be cooler than Carmen or no?
it's close. That would be a competition. Another thing that makes metal is the lyrics. Like, oh wait,
Mm,
yeah,
mm,
lyrics for me, and I know this is gonna be subjective, but there are some lyrics that if you see it, you're like, oh, that is fucking metal.
yeah, I'll give you that.
Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live. I cannot die. Trapped in myself. Body my holding sail. Sail. Yeah, that sail has two syllables. Sail.
That is absolutely one of their best songs. Great lyrics. Love it. They have great
Those are
lyrics.
metal lyrics,
They are. Yeah, they are.
right?
They are set to a
Set to metal music, right? And
uh,
the metal vocals.
to
Yeah, it's
yacht rock.
obviously
It's
heavy
metal
metal.
lyrics, lyrics with yacht rock beats. I got no problem with that.
Man, so you sound childish when you say things like that, and when other people say things like that, you just sound like that's weird. Do they have like
Um,
something against winners?
so my buddy Justin that's going to come on, and this is good. I need to tell you about this. My buddy Justin that's going to come on, um, very smart in terms of music. He's a smart guy anyway, but like he'll set you straight if you have any questions about music. Um, he's squared away,
Okay.
so
He'll
he'll be able to clear up any
Oh, I don't have any questions. I don't have any. That's where there might be a
Oh,
misunderstanding here.
I thought you were looking for answers.
I
No?
don't have any questions about music. I got it all figured out
Oh,
actually.
okay.
When we're in this one, I got
Yeah.
this one down. Actually, if you guys have any questions, I'd be
Um,
glad to answer. Let me
I-
interject. Don't lose where your thought. Don't lose where you're at. Landmine has taken my sight, taken my speech, taken my hearing, taken my arms, taken my legs, taken my soul, left me with life in hell.
um, you've seen them in concert, right?
Yeah,
And they played that song.
yeah.
Dude, is that not one of the best concerts? Like when they, especially
You're vibrating.
when they show that video, like with the dad, what is war? And they've got the father talking to the son, and then it's like the lights and the fire, and yeah,
You're
that's one of the best concerts I've ever been to, and that's one of the best concert experiences I've ever had. That song.
yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean they're the best. Like, oh, so what I was going to talk about is one of the things that makes for me metal. It's like this with a lot, but particularly metal does this to me, and it's the same feeling. This is like it's almost like a color shape thing. Uh, it just gets me so hyped up and so excited. Like when if I have these earbuds in and I'm at work, and all of a sudden I
Are you
hear,
like Beavis?
Hi.
Dang,
you guys
you look
see
like you look like you're headed to a dance recital.
other side.
Are you going to a dance recital? Or did you already finish?
I finished.
Oh, how was it?
Good.
Did you raise lots of money?
Hmm?
Did you raise lots of money? Sell lots of tickets?
I saw lots of people. I
Hmm.
got
Nice. What's up, Cash? Cash man? You doing good?
Yeah. I need help to put it on.
You guys aren't gonna be in here. You're not camping out.
Mhm.
You just came in to say hi. Here. You say bye.
Bye.
See ya.
All right, love you guys. I'll be out in a little bit.
You doing a podcast?
Yeah, I am. Okay. Well, me and mommy will talk about it.
Oh my.
All right, love you guys.
Um, can you hear me?
Yeah, just fine.
Dude, I had kind of an epiphany last night. Um, I was, and I think we've talked about this before. I was playing on my phone, and my wife had, which by the way, I just gotta acknowledge and give credit to my wife. Like she's a smart person. Like she's got a lot of wisdom. Um, so mad props to
For someone from New Jersey, right?
just in general. She's
Okay.
she's in just in general a wise person that I appreciate. Um, but she made the comment about like, dude, you're addicted to your phone, something like that. And I was kind of like,
Yeah. Okay. Are
okay,
you a psychologist now?
I could quit whenever I want.
Yeah. All right,
But
doctor.
but man, it hit me last night. We were talking, or rather, she was talking, and I was playing my game, and I was just like, "Holy cow!" Like I'm playing this block blaster game, um, and like it's just struck me as just how obvious it was that I'm addicted to this dopamine that this stupid little game has given me that I'm chasing, and I'm ignoring and forsaking real conversations that actually matter so I can play this stupid game.
Yeah.
And
That
it's not
sucks.
it's not a criticism. It's just like a holy cow. It's like
Well, the yeah, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater because there is something like even to that, even if it's the little dopamine hits, the the problem comes whenever, you don't control it. But I mean, just as a place, it almost seems like meditative, but it's not. It's actually the opposite. But
it's more like crack cocaine.
yeah, you're just getting that dopamine blasted.
Yeah, man. Um,
But you're not your brain's not doing any heavy lifting when you're doing it. You're getting instant gratification. You're getting all the things.
all the things that I love so much.
Yeah.
Um, what else you got going on? What else has you been thinking about?
Oh, man. Let me go to my list because I wrote down a bunch of stuff when I was talking to my buddy Greg today, but it's all stupid, deep, philosophical, spiritual stuff.
Who
One of the
needs
things,
that?
yeah, I know. One of the things I would like to talk about because we were talking about putting on the armor of God, and what does like new glasses of the armor of God mean? The breastplate of righteousness, especially since now I equate justice with righteousness. Like just that word righteousness is so much deeper and richer to me now. Like, yeah, I am wearing the breastplate of righteousness, and which doesn't mean I'm perfect, doesn't mean I'm squeaky clean, but it means that if I align my virtues, like if I have a north star of what righteousness is, then man, just keep the nose pointed to that. You might go off a little bit, but that's an armor protecting you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we can dive into that maybe later if you want.
Yeah, well, we never. I don't think we. I don't think that you talked about, and I probably do need to bounce off here, and let's give it 8 minutes. So
What?
we'll be down at 9:30, 10:30
Okay.
your time. Um, you didn't talk about something that you had, like I gave the Christmas story. What's your example of something,
Oh,
or if we want to stay off of that, like you mentioned, we talk about it all the time. Maybe there's something else. The floor is yours, brother.
well, let's see. What can we talk about in 7 minutes? I take notes throughout the week. One of the things I thought about, or I took note of, no, that was talking about the new director of ATF. That's not very interesting. Could the drones be us, the United States? This is what a lot of people are thinking of. These drones. What's the talk saying about the drones? What's the latest talk news about these drones?
This is funny. So the same thing happened with the shooter, the United Healthcare shooter. So what I'm hearing now is people saying, okay, okay. So you expect me to believe that, like with the healthcare thing. So this guy just randomly gets caught in a McDonald's with a weapon and with fake like, well, yeah, I mean, sometimes people get caught because they're dumb. but it's like, oh yeah, psh,
Most of the time, people get caught because they're
like
dumb.
like I'm supposed to believe that. So people are like, oh, like I'm supposed to believe that all of a sudden the government just acknowledges that they're ours. I don't know, man. Whatever. Like, I guess that's general consensus is that some people say they're Iranian, some people say they're ours. Um,
Well,
I haven't heard that much about the dirty bomb anymore, but there for a while people were saying it was looking for a dirty bomb. They were looking for a dirty bomb.
here's what's interesting about the Iranian connection is I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people, it's a quick Google to learn about over the years. Many times, Iran has captured an American drone over Iran, usually in the waters, like in what they claim as their coastal waters. So, like international law, Ayala Alpha, and Ayala Bravo is the international maritime law, right? It's kind of like driving on the left hand side of the road versus the right hand side of the road. Actually, that's exactly what it is. Ayala Alpha it would be the people who drive on the left hand side of the road, and Ayala Bravo is people who drive on the right. Well, that law states that your international waters, and there's lots of treaties that back this up, is 12 nautical miles off your coast. Like 12 nautical miles off the coast of Florida, the United States ceases to be the United States. Now it's international water.
Okay.
Iran has a problem with that for lots of reasons. Um, they changed that. They changed that international water line to make it more than 12 miles
They
because
as in Iran.
Iran, the government of Iran,
Okay.
they have lots of oil platforms, or something that's real big in the Persian Gulf is they make these islands, these artificial islands. China is actually leading the technology in that, and one of their closest allies is Iran. So you see a lot of all of the countries around there, like Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. Bahrain is mostly artificial islands.
Are these like islands created for
What you see them
vacations
in,
and stuff, or like
yeah, that's what you see in Dubai and Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Like these islands that are in the shape of a palm tree that have the cool hotel on it.
okay,
Well, what Iran is doing, and what a lot of countries, I think the U.S. Has done versions of this too, but is they'll make these artificial islands. So China is making these artificial islands and making them military bases. Iran is making these artificial islands and making them like logistics. Like usually it's something to do with oil refineries or something like that, or some observation intelligence outpost. But it'll have a big marker, like it'll be clearly marked as Iran, and they'll determine mileage off of that. Like, oh, now if you're out there by our dinghy out in the water, you're in Iranian waters. So over the years, what I'm getting to is we lots of countries, but usually the U.S. Has been flying drones over these water, over these places on the water, and Iran has been able to knock them down and recover them. Like it's made the news. Like I'm saying, quick Google, you see
and
Iran's done that a lot.
we're doing that for intel.
Yeah, yeah, for signal intelligence.
Okay.
Um, so what I'm getting at is they have captured a lot of our drones. There's some stuff that I don't know. Everyone's been interested in drones for a long time. Like back when I was in the Navy, drones was the bee's knees, and like we were working on, there was anti-drone weapons being developed and fielded back then, 2012, 2013, 14. There were these anti-drone programs back then, and a decade into the future, I'm out of it, but you can imagine it hasn't slowed down. It's only gotten more and more advanced. uh iran Iran could have a tie with these drones, but I think it, for whatever my uneducated gut, I think that it's more likely Chinese, just because China has done this to us in the past and they've clearly gotten away scot free with it.
Yeah.
And I think because they do lots of other things that I think is blatant, and they get caught. Like there's Chinese spies are caught all the time, like in
Yeah.
Northrop Grumman and Raytheon and Department
Yeah.
of Defense. You're always hearing of these Chinese spies. A bunch, I think, like President Biden just pardoned like 1,400 people on his way out, and some of them were Chinese spies, which is so weird. Like, why would you pardon?
Well, there were, was it Nancy Pelosi had a Chinese spy working for her?
Yeah,
And there was another congressman, and I think this one might have been a Republican, was like having an affair with a
an
Chinese
affair
spy.
with a Chinese spy. Yeah. Um, so China is like repeatedly, without any signs of letting up, probing our entire system. And like, so their Joint Strike Fighter, or their version of our Joint Strike Fighter, is a complete clone of like, back then it was the F-35 and the F-22 were the two new Joint Strike Fighters. One was an Air Force and one was a Navy version. Well, the Chinese JSF 35 is just a, like, if the 22 and the 35 had a baby, or the whatever would had a baby, it would be this Chinese. Like, they clearly just copied these aircraft.
Yeah.
They do that with everything. They're real big on copying technology.
Do you think that so like with the aircraft, could they so they copy the aircraft, maybe the machine is equal. Do they have the same, would they have the same training, the same capabilities that we would? Or like you mentioned last week, we've trained a lot of our own enemies
Yeah,
with Al Qaeda or whoever else,
yeah.
um, Russia, or throughout history. Um, is it a concern for you that they would have access to whatever they've got access to with all these drones?
Yeah, but the thing is it's such a, like, if I just, in my layman knowledge, if I lay out all the stuff that China is blatantly doing, like they just discovered this. Well, I think they've known about it for some years, but it just became public. I heard about this on the President's Daily Brief with Mike Baker. But all of the cranes and the ship ports across all the United States, like the big cranes that move the Connex boxes on and off these ships, they're all made in Japan. Or not Japan, sorry, in China. All these cranes are made in China and shipped over here. Well, they've recently discovered that all of them, 100% of them, and these are like in US Navy shipyards and all these ports of entries, had they were able to find this by frequency. They all had basically computers on it that were monitoring everything around it, and that were like taking the signal. They were spying on
Hmm.
everything around it. These cranes, every radio chatter, every email that was sent that could be interpreted, all the Wi-Fi signals, this thing was soaking up and shooting it to a satellite and sending it right to China has been going on for years. Like, this is open source information. China is just blatant. They flew 2 spy balloons over the entire United States.
And we were talking about TikTok earlier.
We're talking about TikTok.
Yeah.
Chinese spyware.
Right.
China is the superpower. Like, it's weird. Like, they're kind of the big kid on the block right now. I just all of that makes me think like this has got to be China, or at least
Yeah.
Chinese assisted. Definitely Chinese developed. Like, it's got to be China. It's what they do.
So what happens when you're no, so when you say China's the big kid on the block, would you say to the exclusion of America? Like, are
They,
we
they've
not the big kid?
they've passed us. I've heard a few different people mention this recently, including on Joe Rogan and President Daily Brief and on Sean Ryan show. A bunch of like credentialed officials have said China has passed us in their shipbuilding process and all of like their Department of Defense stuff that would historically we would have had a leg up on. Number of tanks, number of helicopters, number of ships, number of planes. Uh, they have ramped up their internal production of these things, investigations, over the last 20, 30 years. And we have dramatically scaled all that down to the point where they are past us in the capability, like just in the standing infrastructure, they have the capability to produce way more of these things, ships and planes and tanks, than we currently have the capability of making. Like, we don't
So,
have enough machines to keep up with them.
so then what do you do when you're no longer the big kid on the block?
That's a situation we're going to find ourselves in. Well, what would be the morally? And I know we're jumping off here. Maybe we can explore later. Like, what's the morally acceptable thing? Like, the stoic in me wants to say, you don't have to be the big kid on the block. Like,
Right.
you don't have to be the world police. And I believe that you don't have to be the world. I think it's bad that we are the world police,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes me nervous the idea of an adversary being the new world police. Because what if they
Right.
invade Detroit on a humanitarian mission? Like, hey, you know what? You guys are mistreating these minorities in California. We're going to invade to protect them. And
Yeah.
they can because they can. Like,
And I think that there would be a decent amount of our population that would support.
they would side with them instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly. I'm Chinese now.
That's interesting. What about so I think I sent you a picture, a screenshot of Trump calling Trudeau a governor,
Yeah.
and then Trump recommend or suggested that
As a
Canada.
joke.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, did he mean to call him governor? Was
Oh,
that
he was making a joke. He was saying, "Oh, you guys, you could be the governor of the 51st state
oh, so that was the same conversation?
that I'd heard of."
Okay,
Is
because I got them like weeks apart. So the
So
first thing I
what they were
heard,
saying, so this was supposed to be a conversation at like a fundraising dinner that both Trudeau and or some type of like dinner thing that both Trudeau and Trump were at, and they're at the same table. And what this was a reporter that was at the table leaked this conversation that happened. And I think they both confirmed it after the fact. But Trudeau was saying, hey, these tariffs that you're proposing, these 25% tariffs are going to kill us. And Trump said, well, or we're spending, it's like 300 billion, or it was something crazy, like 300 million to one. US are buying Canadian products versus Canadians buying US products. So Trump was saying, like, you guys are making all this money and we're not making any money off of you guys. You're making all this money off of us. If you can't afford a 25%, tariff, maybe you should become the 51st state and you can be
okay,
the governor of it.
that makes sense. Okay, that's not how I received it.
Oh.
So that clears it up.
What you should do is get a story off of TikTok and say, wow, that's interesting. I'm going to go confirm it with other
Man,
news sources.
that's so boring.
Yeah,
And I don't
yeah.
have that kind of time because I got Black Blaster calling my name.
You know what I do is I have this news app that gives me like headlines, and it's the same thing as Instagram or whatever. They know what I like to see. They've
Yeah,
developed an algorithm,
yeah,
but they'll give me these headlines, and some of it is obviously clickbait. But what I'll do is I'll go from that app. There's an option of open in browser. And if I open in browser and it actually is the news source that it says it is, then I give it some credibility. But if the pop ups come up and the spam alerts come up,
yeah,
then I'm like, oh, okay, it's TikTok.
yeah. That's good advice. All right. I'm gonna jump off of here.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe 2 hours. 2 hours feels like a good time, or maybe we can still keep people interested for the whole time.
Interested for 2 hours? Yeah, we can try that.
All right. Well, I'll send this to you as soon as I get it.
Guess next time?
I think so. I think next week we should have Justin the Lesser.
Justin the
And
Lesser.
actually, he's greater. He's a good dude. One of my favorites. And then my brother, I think after that. And then I've got some other ideas that I want to run by you, but
Some other ideas, maybe some. Okay.
We'll release them little by little.
Little by little breadcrumbs. But there's some treats coming. Some changes are coming.
Yeah,
We're developing.
and so the next time we have probably the next time we have a podcast will be after Christmas. So I'll talk to you beforehand, but Merry Christmas to all of our friends.
Merry Christmas. It was a rescue mission. God came to save the world.
Amen.
To bring you closer.
All right. Later, buddy.
Later. Bye.